So this, this I have Vincent, Mr. Vincent in mind, because a while back we were talking, and it was one of our conversations, and I don't remember how it got brought up, but we were talking about where did the where did the three letter K's go? Like like all of a sudden, you know, Trump's in office and they're not doing all these attacks and stuff like that. It was something to do with that. Remember, like, because I remember the joke was it was like, did their money run out, or who's controlling them? Like, why all of a sudden are they so silent? You know, and things like that. And it was a question, but at the same time, I didn't have the answer to it. Um, and what just came out about 2 weeks ago reminded me of Bill Cooper, and all the videos I used to listen to of him. Talk about the Southern Poverty Law Center. Um, Talk about his issues with them, and how they were coming after him when he was alive, for the things that he wrote. And there was another gentleman who showed, and this was, I'm trying to find the video because it was during the time of Donald Sterling when he owned the Los Angeles Clippers, how the Southern Poverty Law Center, a lot like the NAACP, are run by um, that three-letter group of people, starting with a J, ending with a W, that have the star of Molech or Remfram on their flag over in the Middle East, um, and or what they call the Middle East, what is really just the steppes of Asia. Um, yeah, but they're run by that group, and how Donald Sterling, he was one of these people, you know, um, and how he won 2 lifetime awards. But I mean, that means he had to, he died and be reincarnated and to live again to win a second one. How's he winning 2 lifetime awards when he can only live one life? That kind of thing. But it reminds me of the Moors. The Moors always talked about how the Jews, or that group of people, how they have to be connected to the Negro. And I've tried finding it. I can't find it. If you guys know what video I'm talking about, there was a video. It was a long one. Judge Joe Brown talked about there used to be a law, and I've looked for it. I can't find it, and he didn't tell us how to find it. So that's one of the reasons I got aggravated with this stuff. Because when he would drop nuggets and would talk, law, what I'm saying, and the interesting laws, he wouldn't tell you how to find it. He would be vague. But he said there was a law that whatever you could do to a Negro, you could do to a Jew, right? And that's why, the Jew who worked with the Negro to pass the civil rights, so they could, then classify themselves as something and separate from them. But they needed their help, And then, you look around and they've been controlling the so-called Negro in America for, through media, through entertainment, you know, how many times they talk about the Jewish guy that owns the record label, look at Black Entertainment TV, it's owned by Jewish people, things of that nature. So they're always connected. But getting back to the Southern Poverty Law Center, he called it years ago, and I just want to give him credit, even though he's not here, because everyone's gonna have their reactions and act shocked, and they're not gonna bring up a guy who told us a long time ago that just people wouldn't listen.
Joseph Goebbels would truly be proud of Chip Burlett, the Southern Poverty Law Center, which has never done anything whatsoever to help poor people with legal representation in the South or anywhere else, or with any other type of help. It is a sham, a scam, a con, through which they collect money to vilify Americans, to vilify the Constitution, to vilify patriotism, to vilify freedom, and bring about oppressive laws. The police state. The Anti-Defamation League engaged in the manipulation of Jews, spying for foreign governments, and outright treason. Not to mention the fact that they have been caught on many occasions promulgating the racist, anti-Semitic events which causes the Jews to empty their pockets into the coffers of the Anti-Defamation League.
See, and there was another one. When he said that at the end, this reminds me there was a documentary I was watching about the Klan in Tennessee, and they were showing how these I think it was at least 2 Jewish dudes, infiltrated the Klan and ran the Klan, and they were found out when their connections from New York caught up to them that they were Jewish, and of course the Klan turned on them. But it was like, how much hate crimes did they commit in Tennessee and where in other places, being run by these Jewish guys when they're back there crying, look at the things that they're doing to us, but it's being run by them, and here he's pointing that out in this. Let me see she'll show the other one.
Yeah, I saw the indictment yesterday. I saw the acting attorney general and FBI director do a press conference on it. It was quite shocking to me to learn of the egregious violations of the law the Southern Poverty Law Center was committing. And I think that's a story that should be on the front page of every newspaper in this country because they've obviously been duping their supporters and the American taxpayers for far too long. It's a criminal organization, clearly, and that's not our DOJ saying that or Todd Blanche saying that. That's a grand jury indictment.
It's threatened by the Southern Poverty Law Center, NAACP, the Democrat Party, because
what did I say right at the beginning? The NAACP and the Southern Poverty Law Center, right? I thought the NAACP is supposed to be helping you, but if you turn around and look at it, it's not. It's not for them, It's for that nation over in the Middle East that's working on its greater plan.
Stood up for teachers in Gunnersville, Alabama that was falsely accused of racism. Now, just not long ago, indictments have dropped against the Southern Poverty Law Center. You know why? Because they was paying the KKK to do their work. And think about this. The NAACP works alongside the Southern Poverty Law Center. Isn't that ironic? I went through so much. I stood there by myself trying to protect Gunnersville, and I was always right.
Look up Southern Poverty Law Center and how they was allegedly donating millions to extremist groups. One in particular, the KKK. Blacks, if there's not enough to leave the Democratic Party, I don't know what else to tell you.
They're literally putting high school chapters of ours on a hate group next to the KKK and next to neo-Nazi groups. And I mean, we can laugh this off. There's an element to this. Remember that there was a shooter that went to the Family Research Council years ago, inspired by the SPLC list. This is them trying to make us basically surrender at Turning Point USA. We're going to do the opposite, and our students are only going to lean in even more. But they can't debate us on our ideas. They cannot have dialogue. They cannot actually go onto the merits of why they are right or why we might be wrong. Instead, they must smear us with the age-old one-liner that you are a racist or that you are a hater.
And the SPLC, the Southern Poverty Law Center, has been found on wiretaps, funneling money into hate groups. The KKK, Aryan Nation, all of them. The whole Charlottesville thing, all of them. They have been funneling and putting money into hate groups in order to justify their existence. So for them to continue to be relevant, they had to manufacture hate directed mainly towards black folks. So my question to black folks is, are you tired of getting played?
The Justice Department alleges SPLC defrauded donors by using their money to pay leaders and members of the extremist groups that the organization claimed they were trying to bring down. The SPLC is accused of secretly funneling more than $3 million between 2014 and 2023 to field sources, including $1 million for an informant with the neo-Nazi organization National Alliance, $270,000 to a member of the group that planned the Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, Virginia in 2017, and $300,000 to a member of an Aryan Nations affiliate. The Justice Department is charging SPLC with 6 counts of wire fraud, 4 counts of bank fraud, and 1 count of conspiracy to commit money laundering.
The SPLC was not dismantling these groups. It was instead manufacturing the extremism it purports to oppose by paying sources to stoke racial hatred.
To me. And you have to wonder for what purpose. I mean, they love to put groups and names of prominent conservatives, and over the years they've attacked me, on their lists. and smear and slander them. And now we find out that they use a backdoor and shadowy accounts to fund them. Can you explain that?
Yeah, Sean, look, money doesn't lie. The charity that supposedly fought the Klan funded the Klan. The charity that supposedly fought neo-Nazis funded neo-Nazis. The Southern Poverty Law Center ran a methodical, calculated scheme to defraud their donor base of $3 million and lied to them and used an illicit banking structure system to create shell companies to hide their money and who it was being sent to, specifically for the reason to sow discord and hate into our society. This is the ultimate definition of hypocrisy. And if you look at the indictment produced by the Department of Justice and the FBI, you will see that these banking institutions tie directly the funding mechanisms in which the Southern Poverty Law Center used to fund at least 8 hate groups they supposedly wanted to take out, but they were paying the very villains of our society they supposedly wanted to protect us from. That's the ultimate hypocrisy.
When an organization starts making serious money fighting a problem, and then they're paying these salaries and they're building these empires, and you have these high profile positions, and